Good morning. It's a great pleasure for me to meet you again on my YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about Deixis as the follow-up of what we have previously discussed concerning speech act on our pragmatic course. Speech act itself is not adequate for somebody to be able to communicate well with the listener, adversary, or encounters. It has to be equipped with the knowledge or implementation of the proper deixis. Now, what is deixis? Deixis derives from ancient Greek terms that means to point to person, called personal deixis, space that we call special deixis, and time, temporal deixis. There are three types of deixis. In this case, personal deixis. First person deixis expressed by I and we. Second person deixis expressed by you. Third person deixis expressed by he, she, it, and they. Remember that all three of them can be expressed by first personal pronoun, the second one adverb. In this case, for temporal deixis, adverb of place, and for time deixis or temporal deixis is used, adverb of time is used. Now, concerning the personal deixis, the third person deixis is not always physically or clearly heard by the listener, cause he, she, it, and they can be expressed by other terms such as my sister, your brother, your daughter, my wife, my uncle, and the professor. But they remain the same as personal or third personal deixis. Now, we can find out the examples of deictic terms used for special deixis, such as here, there, down there, up there, close to the window, across the bridge, etc. And temporal deixis can be expressed by deictic terms related to tense, yes, such as now, yesterday, before, then, after, 2 days ago, last week, or time of clock or calendar, 5 o'clock, 6:30, and so on. Then on January, on March, in 1923, and in 2024. These are how you have to use deictic expression. Look, now let's try to examine this utterance. I saw you there with your sister at 5 o'clock yesterday. I saw you there with your sister at 5 o'clock yesterday. In this utterance, we can see I as person or personal deixis, and so is personal of, Deixis or deictic term for time or temporal deixis. You is personal deixis. Your sister, which is not physically present as personal pronoun, is a personal deixis. At 5 o'clock and yesterday, our temporal deixis or temporal deictic, yes. Why? Now, you can also examine the following example or next instance. Yes, we waited for the professor. He assigned us to do a new project. Yes, we waited for the professor. He assigned us to do a new project. In this utterance, we can see we as personal, right? Personal deixis. Waited is temporal deixis. Professor is social deixis, that we call this as honorific deictic terms because it is used to somebody that the speaker respects. And he is a discourse deixis that we call cataphoric, for it refers to the previous expression, the professor. Yes, when we talk about cataphoric, we have to talk about anaphoric. Anaphoric is something that is not yet mentioned, whereas cataphoric is something that has been mentioned before. This is a great story. And you see that this is anaphoric because this is the first mention. It has not been mentioned before. The title is not mentioned yet. That is a great novel. Yes. It's a great novel. It's something that is called cataphoric because it refers to the previous novel that has been understood by the listener and the speaker. These are certain examples. Now you can see that we can use deictic terms in the context of proximity and distance. If I say, this book is mine, this means to say that the book is close to the speaker, close to me. But if you say, that book is not mine, it is a distal, because there is a distance between the speaker, the listener, and the book. So that is demonstrative. So you can say that proximity and distance have to be considered. Another examples. Here is the place where I met last time, where I visited last year. I saw him there. Here is proximal, and there in I saw him there is distal. So there is a proximity and distal or distance. This kind of proximity and distance can also be found out in temporal deixis, such as now I try to drive the car, okay? I'm talking to him now. Now is proximal, or it has proximity with the time of the speaking or the conversation taking place. And I met him yesterday. Yesterday is distal because it's not now, it's not close to me or to the speaker and listener now. Right? It is quite distant. Last week, 7 years ago, and so on, are called distal deictic terms. Now let's continue. Regarding discourse, Deixis that I have talked to you about, we have to know that deictic or discourse deictic means to make the utterances or communication or sound decent, polite, okay, right, nice, so on. All right, then this is to prevent the repetition or overlapping use of the words. In the example that I stated just now, the professor, yes, is referred to he in the second mention because the speaker doesn't want to use the professor the second time. Right? Okay. This is in cataphoric discourse. And the next one, anaphoric, is the first mention. This is to refer to something that has not been pointed to, that has not been understood by the listener. Yes. Like in the incident, it's a great story. Yes. It's a great story. The story is not mentioned yet. And the title of the story is not known yet. So, this is called anaphoric. So there are two things in discourse analysis. The first one is cataphoric and anaphoric, both of which function to make utterance coherent and cohesive and to prevent repetition or overlapping expressions. This is discourse of deictic terms. The next one, social deixis, is deictic terms that are used to deictic terms in relation to social concepts. Proximity and distance between the speaker and the listener can result in different deictic terms for the second person. This is what we call honorific. So, linguists call this choice of more than one second personal deixis honorific, or in this case, TV. T is deictic term for the second person that is neutral. For example, to our close friends whose social status is equal to us. And you say just now, the professor is used as honorific to give respect to the professor, because there is a kind of social distance. In Asian languages or Proto-Austronesian languages, TV is T is neutral just now, and V are the choices of one that fits the second person deixis. The second person or the addressee. You can see, for example, in Bahasa Indonesia, there are many deictic terms for you in English. Yes. You can be expressed by kau, kamu, saudara, Anda, bapak, or ibu. Kau is T because it can be used to a person who has equal status with the speaker. Yes. Kau. Saudara is also used for the person whose social status equals to the speaker's social status. Anda is more polite, or it can mediate the use of all choices of second persons in Bahasa Indonesia, Anda. And you see, saudara, right, equal status as I said. You say bapak refers to the second person who is adult male, and ibu refers to second person. Yes, there is adult female. So these choices of these deictic terms are called V. This is concerning how to use deictic terms for the second persons. T refers to two, yes, and V refers to vos in Latin language. To, you, and vos is something else. To is neutral, and vos is something that you may respect, and so on. Right? And another one of social deictic terms is determined by euphemism. Euphemism is to make expression sound polite and decent. So usually euphemism does not change the personal pronoun, but it changes lexical items. Say for instance in Bahasa Indonesia, to refer to dai, there are some V's that can be used, such as mati, meninggal, tewas, and wafat. Mati dies, but this is normally used for non-human being, maybe animals, yes, like pig, dog, and so on. Tewas is a deictic term that is used for a victim of war and victim of accident. Meninggal is neutral, that sounds polite and decent. But we don't use these terms to somebody that is highly respected, like the president. The president died 3 years ago, yes, should be expressed by presiden itu wafat 2 tahun yang lalu. Instead of presiden itu mati, presiden itu meninggal, or presiden itu tewas. We don't say this. Okay? So, this course, Deixis does not change only personal pronoun whenever euphemism is used. I think this is the issues that we need to talk about currently, and we continue talking further about Deixis in the upcoming lectures. I thank you for your attention, your patience, and your enthusiasm. Goodbye.